Okay, so it's been a couple days. The energy has just been whack. I don't know if y'all would agree with that. I don't know if it's something that's just like been in the air, if it's because of everybody's tensions from the elections. I forget that even happens because I don't vote. I personally believe that the talking about it is important, sharing your opinion about it is important, which is what we're told not to do, and then we're just supposed to vote. I don't believe our votes actually mean anything. I don't believe that system has existed that way for probably 100 years. I think that everybody that has ended up in the position of president has been purposefully placed in that position, whether the people have agreed with it or not, and that generally most of what happens throughout the campaigning is just convincing people of what rhetoric to use in order to kind of convince people that their opinions matter about any of it. And it's mostly just to, like, you know, go off of, anybody that's potentially, like, anybody that's capable of becoming the president is not a real person. They're not just an average person trying to do the best to be a great leader. They're politicians. They're people that, you know, or skeezy businessmen. They're people that, you know, have a certain amount of power and influence and are placed in those positions, and the choices that we have are between people that are already accepted into the position, sort of deal. So it doesn't really matter if it falls to the right or to the left, or in the middle. It doesn't matter. The end goal of what's to happen within the presidencies still happens regardless. It's all the left-right paradigm is just to convince people that they have some sort of control or free will in them, and, you know, that their opinion matters. And it's just to kind of, it's a way to gauge what it is that where the people are mentally, in order to, you know, propagate the right rhetoric to convince the people that that the matrix isn't happening. It's all just a game. It's all just a stupid game to convince people. I mean, it's like having a relationship with a narcissist where, like, you know that they're lying to you, but there's still some hope in you that if you, like, do things the right way and say things the right way and don't upset them and do these different things, that, like, you're going to get somewhere with them. And all they're doing that whole time is observing you to see how best to manipulate you. And so, like, the information you give them is just information that's adding to, like, that's how they know where you stand, so they know how to communicate with you in a way that garnishes your power from you towards them. Like, it's just a way to stay in control. And unless you completely get out of that relationship, you're going to keep being controlled because you're just giving them the power to. That's how that relationship dynamic works. They're certainly not going to secede in any sort of fashion in your direction, right? So, like, I know my lipstick's coming off. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. I just don't. I think that communicating about your beliefs is important. I think that sharing your opinions and stuff like that is important. Not on the grand world scheme, but, like, to the individuals, you know, just to kind of get all of everybody in alignment. Even then, I mean, so much of it's still just part of the game. Truly self-sufficient people are just not concerned about those things. They're going to do whatever they can with whatever they have at any given time to do their best, and have already been well aware that, like, their voiced opinion on the matter, even if their vote did matter for those things, like, it doesn't, even if your vote wasn't just being put into a fake system and counted in a fake way, like, it doesn't matter if it's Kamala or if it's Trump or if it's, you know, any of the in-betweens. Like, what's going to happen is already pre-planned to happen, and it's been that way for the last at least 100 years. I'm pretty sure it's been 200 years. Almost 300 years. It's been like that since the dawn of America. I mean, it was already like that prior in different ways, but America was literally established to be this very specific country for a very specific reason, to hold a very specific influence over the world in certain ways, and to kind of be like, this is where those people in those secret societies and that system gets to play itself out. So I don't really care about any of it, to be honest. I really don't. Yeah, here I am talking for 5 minutes about it. Right? Yeah, the King of Wands fallout. Yep, right. Yeah, I feel that. Karmic cycle. Being on top of one's own karmic cycle, like, that's great. Still a karmic cycle. Like, I don't want my strength being determined by my capacity to be able to deal with this shit. This isn't even what I want to talk about. This definitely is not what I want to talk about. So I ordered some new cards. I also was trying to order some other things, but the cards were cheap. So I have 4 new sets of cards coming. These are the first tarot cards I've ever had, and now I'm ordering 4 new sets because I'm going to try to see if using different cards helps to bring in different energies, bring in different types of ways to read. I'm sure it will, since I do this all oracle. So I'm excited to get those. I don't even know if they're all tarot. I think at least 2 of them are, and 2 of them are like general oracle types. I don't know for sure. I know one of them is basically this exact deck, only in pink, which is nice. Very cute. Pink is a power color for me. I was the pink Power Ranger when I was a kid. So pink is a power color for me. I also have, I ordered a Adventure Time tarot deck, which I will like for the cartoons of it. I think that will be creatively inspiring. I only watched the first season of Adventure Time. I watched it with my niece, and I loved it. But then it started getting really weird, and then my brother didn't want us to watch it because it was very satanic. Everything is super satanic, according to my family. So, not that it isn't, but it isn't like true Satanism. But when you're a Christian, if it isn't Christianity, it's Satanism. Everything is some form of witchcraft. And you don't educate yourself about those things, because why would you? Those things are of the devil. Which is so funny, because the Bible itself like tells you to be wise as serpents, but peaceful as doves. To learn those things, because you're supposed to be the ones not afraid to learn those things. You have nothing to fear. You're not given to the power of devils. You're given to the power of the one true God. So you have nothing to fear at all. Not even death. You can put death to death. Like, there's literally not supposed to be any fear in any of those things. But Christian conservatism has just completely brainwashed the masses. That's what's so dumb. I mean, I just don't even want to be in this country anymore. All of it. And then you have Israel on the other side of the world being a fuck. So it's like, there's no winning when it comes to that. That's why, like, I try not to worry about those things. I care for people that are dealing with all of these different issues. Like, the people that are being genocided and shit. Like, I want to help people. But, like, I also just, like, don't really get myself too involved with a lot of these politics, because the best I can do is just focus on myself and how to be positive myself. Meanwhile, the 4 of Cups comes out, and it's like, well, the universe is trying to hand you a cup. But you're so focused on these cups that you already have that you're not taking this new cup. I was running for president. Nobody took it seriously. And then I realized nobody wanted to take it seriously. Literally nobody wanted to take it seriously. Everybody wanted to either buy into this puppet or buy into this puppet. And if you come out saying, well, I'm not a puppet and I just want people to be real and I'm going to hold you accountable to being real people and we're going to build a real reality, people are like, oh, that actually sounds like a lot of work. Trump's just going to give us everything that we want. Kamala's just going to give us everything that we want. This system's kind of already set. So like, it just sounds like it'd be a lot of work. It sounds like you could only like manage to change like a few things fundamentally. And then it's going to take like generations of us actually doing work until we can like get to these ideals that we swear we all believe in and that we want so badly. But like, we're not really trying to do that work. So maybe we can just stick to like the two people that are being promoted as the top two choices, even though we don't actually believe in it and like we don't really care. So like at that point I'm like, okay, yeah, well, if you don't care, I definitely don't want you looking in my direction. And I did just make a joke of it myself, but that was because I intended to make more of it. And then I quickly realized that like, this place isn't even worth saving like that. It really isn't, until we have a populace that's actually trying to save themselves. All they're doing is just being codependent. That's all anybody's doing anymore. People just want to be terribly codependent. It's starting to get really frustrating to me. I've like put myself out here open to romance and all I'm getting back is codependency. And I find it really frustrating at the very least. And it's like I put myself out here for actual kinship to, you know, connect with people. And I have these people that like, you know, struggle to connect with anybody else, and it's really nice for them to feel like they actually are connecting to a real person for once, and then it turns into codependency. I'm not here for it. I'm just not here for it. I'm so tired of it. I'm tired of the codependent relationships. The entire industry is codependent. You know, every aspect of everything in this culture and reality right now is just based on codependency. It's because people aren't self-aware. And if they are at all self-aware, they're not willing to be self-responsible. And I just like, why am I going to sit here and support that? Why am I going to give anything to that? Like, it's not about, it's one thing if I'm fighting these systems for all of the people that just want to be free, but the people don't want to be free. The people like their enslavement. And it's been that way for a long time, I know, you know. And like, I, for a while, started seeing this uprising of people like wanting something different, but then they all fall for the dumb shit. Suddenly now you have Kamala coming in like, okay, we're doing something different, where it's like, obviously not real. And when people see that, like, it gets their hopes up for a second. And then when they realize that it's not real, all of a sudden they're like, okay, well then I guess I'll just fall back into being a drone. Instead of continuing to push for that thing that we were all pushing for. I'm not going to sit here pushing forward as the only one pushing forward in a certain direction when nobody else wants to actually go in that direction. I will push myself forward. I'll do what I need to do for myself. But I'm not carrying all of these people on my back that don't actually want to move forward. You have to prove yourself to some degree. You know what I mean? Like, it's like being offered a huge investment opportunity. But in order to prove that you're real about it, you have to give in some of your own money, resources, whatever it is that you have, right? That I totally understand. I totally get it. But as a free-thinking individual, I also realize that I'm not going to just give of myself and my resources to be part of a larger system that's just playing the same stupid game. I'd rather put my resources into something else, like myself. I'm extremely frustrated. Like the last 2 days felt just like a wash. I don't really know what to do about it. I want to cry. I feel like there's all of these emotions and stupid feelings and like there's just like all these blockages. I'm trying to release shit. It always feels like it, like this time of year. And that's extremely frustrating for me. I fucking hate my family. I really do. No, I can blame myself for how I feel, right? Because it's me responding to things that way. But if it weren't for them and the way that they've been my entire life, my birthday wouldn't feel like this every fucking year. And for the past 4 years, I've been homeless on my birthday. So this is great. I'm in a better position, right? I'm not homeless. I'm in a safe place. You know, I'm not totally lacking resources like I have been for the last 4 years. Every one of my birthdays, I haven't had a dime to my name. I've been living out of a car or living on the street. I've been alone, you know. So it isn't the same, but I think that that's in part why I'm feeling it so intensely, because I think all of those times that's why I haven't been struggling with depression for the last 4 years. I didn't have the freedom to. I didn't have the time to. I didn't have the space to. I was too busy being in survival mode. And so I'm not in it right now, and it's like a weird feeling, and I don't quite know what to do with it, and so it feels overwhelming. I feel like I have all of these different opportunities and just don't even know what to do with them. And like, I'm always feeling like that. I'm always in either survival mode or I'm in a time of like prime opportunity and not knowing where to even begin. And just not feeling properly supported, because it's extremely hard to find people that are like truly self-actualized, that are like actually trying to live their lives to the fullest, that are really dedicated to being positive, to being self-fulfilled, to, you know, trying to make this world a more sustainable place. Like, you know, it's just, people are just so lacking in those ways. Everybody's just like, it's just like every conversation I have with another person is like them being like, man, I'm really lonely. Like, I'm so tired of people, man. I'm so tired of people not being able to look into themselves. I did all this work. I did these things for a reason. I knew it was going to set me apart to some degree, but like, yeah, it's lonely at the top, but not like this, like lonely, like I wish I could relate to other people. I wish other people could relate to me. I can relate to other people because I've already been in the places that all of these other people have been in to some degree. But it's very hard to find people that can relate to me. And that's frustrating. And I'm not like some like great person. I'm not better than anybody else. I'm not like, it's nothing even like that at all. And that's what people think. And as long as people think that, like, it just is this frustrating burden to bear. I don't like it. I just want to be doing more. Like, so much more. I don't actually need people to relate to me. Nobody ever has. And I'm great. I'm fine. You know, it's only all of these stupid low vibrations of all these lonely fucking people that gets to me, and suddenly now I'm starting to feel that way. It's a projection that's not even coming from me. I'm fine. I'm good. All of this energy is just being projected right now. Like, none of this is my actual energy. And that's what I hate. Like, I want to release it, but like, at the same time, like, I don't want to have to be the one to do it. I don't like that. I don't like that people can just put their energy on me, and because I'm willing to get in touch with my emotions, I'm willing to do the work, I'm willing to do the thing, so I have to take it all on. We're not doing this anymore. We're not playing this game anymore. You don't get to continue to crucify Jesus just because you don't want to carry your own cross. I'm so tired of this codependent reality. Just because somebody else is strong enough to carry your burdens doesn't mean they should have to. Why the fuck do you think they're so strong? Probably because they've been carrying all their own burdens. You start carrying your own burdens and you'll just end up as strong as them. I don't see why that's a problem. Quit trying to put your shit on everybody else. That's the world we live in, and that's what everybody, I did my job, I voted. Because that's all I'm supposed to do, the bare minimum. I voted for choices that were given to me. I didn't have to think in this process whatsoever. I just had to feel, well, I don't like that, so I guess I like this. And that's how everybody's voting nowadays. Nobody actually gives a fuck. But that's their power. That's them doing what they're supposed to do as a citizen. That's their one right and responsibility, and they're doing it. It's a joke. It's a joke. Why the fuck do you think Trump's sitting here fake sucking off the microphone at his rallies? You don't give a fuck. None of these people actually give a fuck about you. This is a joke being played on you. We're all the butt of this joke. It's not funny. I don't see any of y'all laughing. Oh, it just, so then I start making jokes again, and they're all, fucking despicable. They're all hateful. They're all just, really mean-spirited. And I'm like, why is this my comedy? Why is this what comes out of me? I need to get it out so that it's not constantly sitting with me, to be honest. But at the same time, there's, this fear of it, too, where it's God, everybody's going to see me as, these things that I'm not truly, but, who cares? Who even fucking cares? I don't care about your fucking opinion. I'm so tired of this energy. I can't wait for those new cards to come because I feel like that's going to, really give me a new... I've been wanting to make my own cards, too. But it's hard, it's been hard making art and stuff. I actually made my own cards. I made 20 of them. I was, on my way to making a full deck. But I had 20 cards that I had made this time last year. And they weren't completed yet, obviously, because I didn't have an entire deck yet. So it wasn't finished. And along with all of the other art I had ever made and still kept over the course of over 20 years, I had art that was from when I was 15 years old. And all of this art, I had art that I was commissioned for, that I was trying to sell. I had all of this stuff that I had made for, my friends in the industry and different stuff like that. I had portraits, I had caricature work. I had a whole bunch of art that had been given to me by other people throughout the years. I had, the art that I made out of the sonograms that I had for my pregnancies. I had, my photos from my dogs, and the years that we spent traveling and living out of my fucking car, and the years that I had my dogs, all of those photos. I had everything all in one bag that got destroyed by my last client here in Texas, his grandson. And I lost all of it. And I didn't respond then. I didn't let it get to me then. And I mean, I've cried about it a couple times, but not even really that much, because it's just it's what the fuck does that even do? It's just gone. It's gone. All of that stuff is gone. It's whatever. I mean, there's literally nothing I can do about it. But it does make it hard to, even be creative now. I have been slowly, but it takes so much out of me that it never used to. Those things used to just come to me naturally. I could sit there and for days on end just draw picture after picture after picture after picture and be very proud of the work that I had done. Didn't matter what other people thought. But I had those things. I had all those, cards that I had made, oracle cards that I had made. They all got destroyed. And, her grandson was on PCP and he's bashing me about how demonic all of my work is. And Yeah, when you're a Christian, you know, when you're that type of Christian, I can see why you would think that. Meanwhile, this dude is a fucking racist on PCP trying to sexually assault me, but I'm the bad guy for my drawings. It's the same, like, why do I care so much what other people think? It's the same thing, like, my jokes are satire, heavy fucking satire. Like, I have a real dry sarcasm. I just say shit, and I find it highly entertaining. Other people get offended. Who the fuck cares? If you're getting offended by somebody else, that's a you problem. That's a you problem. I find myself given to those same things. I get offended by... Have a feminist talk for 3 minutes, and you'll see me getting really triggered. But that's still a me problem. I like feel this change coming, but it's like fucking like when you know your period is about to come, but it's not coming, and it's just like procrastinating, and like you're feeling all of the PMS, and like it's driving you up a fucking wall, but like you just don't have that release yet. That's what it feels like. It feels like being pregnant and having your water broke and knowing that you're in labor and just waiting. You're pushing, you're breathing, you're doing all of these things, you're in the right position, you're doing all these things, you have everybody like yelling at you and trying to help you out and all these things, and the baby just isn't coming. Like, I know it's coming. It's not like it can just stay in me forever. And I was like doing so good with like my diet, my detox, and working out every day. And now I'm fucking fat again. And part of it's hormones, but I really wanted this week to like feel good. And instead I'm just feeling the weight of like the last 4 years and not having the space to actually like feel. So this is a privilege. This is a privilege. I am blessed to have this space to be able to feel these things. I hate that my blessings always feel like pain and loss and frustration. Great for the alchemy, but I would like to just have a bit of peace too. And I have it. That's what this is. That's what's so frustrating about it, right? Because that's what I have right now. But because I haven't had that ever, it like triggers all of these different things. So I have to take this time to process, because I'm not going to have a genuine time of peace in the future if I just keep suppressing all these things, because then anytime I am at rest and am at peace, that these things are going to keep coming up. So I have to feel these things. It's fine for it to feel like a lot. It's fine that it is a lot. It's okay to feel. This is part of life. It's not always so easy. And it helps you remember when it is easy, what a blessing that is. You know? I don't like crying on camera, especially not with lipstick, because now I look like an actual fucking clown. But see how shallow I still tend to be? That I can't even just let myself feel things because somebody might see it. Because I know how stupid I look. even casting that kind of judgment, like, it's petty and futile. It's important to feel. It's why we're alive. It's everything. All the loss, all the pain, all the suffering, all the confusion, all the uncertainty, all the love, all the hope, all the peace, all of it. It's all part of it. And it's all just as valuable. Who am I to sit here and say that these feelings are less significant than when I'm happy and completely contented? Again, I can't get to those spaces unless I actually let myself feel these things out. Obviously. Because if it weren't for having all of these suppressed emotions, I would be contented right now. Because there's no reason not to be. Outside of the fact that in this space of peace for the first time, I'm free to let these things out and actually process them. And I haven't had that before, so it's like, and it's fine. This isn't my ideal place. This isn't my ideal life yet. I'm not there yet. I know that. And so I can embrace these things in this time even easier too that way, because it's like, I'm not fucking ruining paradise by just feeling things right now, I'm making the most of this space. I've been trusting the universe, man, because I have not known what I'm doing for fucking my entire life. But especially these last few years, and especially like this year, even last year, I'm always moving on faith. Always. Always. It's all I've ever done. And it's gotten me to places I could have never dreamed of. I've experienced so much in my life. I didn't think I was ever even gonna live this long, It's my birthday tomorrow, and I am 5 years older than my dad ever saw to be, like that my dad ever lived to be. Which is crazy. Because like the last 5 years has been like everything my entire life has changed so much in the last 5 years. I mean, all of these different, I had a lot of incredible experiences even prior. But this last 5 years really has just been so wild. And I do it for him. And I do it for my dogs. And I do it for my grandparents. And I do it for all my dead friends. That's why I've been doing it. But I'm being called to stop doing things for others and just to do it for myself. And all of my spirit team, all of these dead people that I've been collecting over the years, they'll all still be right behind me. In fact, they'll be behind me even more. I've always had a lot of support. I've never actually been alone. Sometimes that's been terrifying. I haven't found myself truly afraid of... I mean, there's been times that I've been afraid of different things, but not truly, not I've always been able to trust that the universe is caring for me and protecting me, especially these last 5 years, which has just been crazy. But, like, I used to have a hard time, even 5 years ago, even in 2020, I was just scared. My whole life I was scared of the shadows, you know. But I, in my fear, I still always found ways to love. In fact, that was always my defense mechanism. The second I was stricken with this mortal fear, I would just be driven to love deeper, harder. It didn't matter if it made sense or not. My faith drove me through everything. And there were times that, I just wanted to be alone. Oh, it's so crazy. Because it's even not being able to tap into my creative energy so easily. That's because I've been being given a break. That stuff used to come out of me so naturally. And I miss that. I can get back to that. But it also kept me from being able to get any rest. Because I was always in this creative energy, which is beautiful and great. And I created a lot of really incredible things during those periods of time. And I'm excited to be able to get back into that to some degree too. But yeah, I've definitely needed this rest. I am very thankful for these experiences. It's just overwhelming. I don't mean to be such a cunt about certain things. I hate getting that way, and then it frustrates me, and then I end up just getting cuntier, and I hate that. Hate. Do I hate that? No, I appreciate it. I need to quit using these words I don't actually mean. You know, if I'm being overtly satirical, maybe that's one thing. But that's been a struggle with me in pursuing comedy so seriously within the last almost couple years now. I was pursuing it consistently, but I've struggled a lot when my words just matter to me, and I'm not just trying to say stuff willy-nilly for laughs. I can do it trusting that if I just speak whatever comes out of me, it serves some purpose. As long as it's in the right time and place, it doesn't really matter how other people receive it. That's on them. But it's important for me just to get certain stuff out. But I just hate feeling like I'm catering to systems that don't ultimately serve me. Because I don't look for my own personal individual service that way either. So if it's not serving me, it's because it's not serving my heart for the greater collective, you know? And I guess that's what I'm trying to release to some degree too, because I have been struggling with that. When I'm extra tired and just want to sleep. I mean, yesterday I slept literally the entire day. The entire day. I don't know the last time I ever did that. Maybe when I was super depressed back in 2020 or prior to that, 2018 or so. But even then, I think if I did sleep like that, it was one, because I was in such a deep fucking depression, and two, I was probably had drank in order to sleep like that, or smoked a bunch of pot in order to sleep like that. I was never much of a drinker, but when I'd get super depressed, every once in a while I'd try to get drunk. I would just smoke until I couldn't process anything. And like, you know, I've been completely sober now, and like, which I feel great about. I don't have a problem with it, actually. You know, every once in a while, like, really just want to get high. I miss it. I like smoking pot. I like the social aspect of it for sure. But I like just like getting high and feeling some type of way. I like the act of smoking. I love the way pot smells and tastes. And I love the way that the smoke feels in my lungs, and like being able to take a big rip off of a bong, or like smoking dabs. Like, I do love that shit, but I'm okay not being on it at all. You know, it was hard at first, kind of, but not even really. That's it. I've been pretty good with it this whole time. Every once in a while, I want to drink, just to like loosen up. I learned that, and I was never given to drinking at all. And then in 2020, like, I would only drink like maybe twice a year, and it was when I was around a whole bunch of friends and or family, you know, at a gathering or like a holiday or something like that. So I wasn't giving to getting drunk either. If I started to get it all tipsy, like, then I would stop drinking. I never liked being drunk. But in 2020, I got depressed enough. I was just trying to like find any way I could to get myself to the point of being willing to kill myself, essentially. So I started drinking whiskey every day, all day. I was just drinking a bottle a day. I would wake up and immediately start drinking. And I would drink until I went to work. And then I would drink as soon as I got home until I went to sleep. And I would finish the bottle. I was getting drunk all day long. And I thought it was going to like help me feel like more depressed. But instead, it like stopped me from feeling depressed. It cut out all those emotions. I just didn't care. I stopped caring about all that shit. I started just like being able to be goofy and funny and like playing video games and just like enjoying my time alone, just being silly. Like, I really didn't want to be around anybody, and I was fine with that. And like, it actually like did something weirdly good for me. I think that was a blessing for my dad too. That was the year that my dad died. Like, he was 30 when he died, and that was the year I turned 30. And I remember like that being a really hard time because I realized I was about to be older than he had ever been. And it just all was hitting me really hard. But I kind of always felt him like looking down at me, like sad to see me in that state, you know, but also so understanding. And like, it was like as soon as I started drinking like that, I suddenly understood him too. You know, he died when I was 6 weeks old, drunk driving, or so I've been told. And like, I always held that against him to some degree. Really, I held it against myself, that my dad chose alcohol over me. And I kept finding partners that kind of did the same thing. And, you know, or just their addictions over me in general. And I beat myself up about it. And I'd let myself beat myself up about it, you know. And at that point, like, I just realized that, like, why people made those choices and how much easier it was. And I just started being a lot kinder to myself, which was not the anticipation. The anticipation was that I was going to end up finally actually killing myself. And I haven't wanted to kill myself since. I think I struggled with depression a bit the following year, just at a few times, but I managed it much better. Throughout 2021, I like kind of just kept making a joke of it, and I like really doubled down on my comedy, which was life affirming for sure, and it did help me a lot. But by 2022, like, I really got on top of my depression. Like, I wasn't feeling it the same sort of way. And at that point too, like, you know, like homeless and traveling all over and living in these different places and stuff like that. And so then, like, the times that wasn't happening, I actually felt, I was just so happy that I wasn't in those spaces. And the times that I was in those spaces, I was just happy. I mean, I was traveling. I was happy to be alive and to find these new things. And every once in a while, I'd start feeling alone, you know, just wishing my family didn't hate me, wishing I didn't hate my family. But I had my dogs, and I was contented, even despite all odds. You know, even when I wasn't able to eat every day or even every, couple of days. There were multiple periods of time where I was only eating maybe once a week, and that was by the grace of whatever individual happened to throw me $5, because they saw me on the street or living in my car. I wouldn't ask for money. I would just pray. I just stayed in prayer that whole time. And I survived. I found myself being blessed anytime that I really needed it. And I just kept telling myself that too, that like, okay, it's the third day I haven't eaten, and I'm walking 20 miles a day. This was like last year. Like, how am I going to survive? I don't know. It feels like I could very easily just die. But I know that I'm not going to. I know that the universe is going to provide. Whatever that looks like. I'm looking for it. I'm open to it. I will receive humbly from the universe whatever it gives to me. And I did. And I continue to. And I continue to end up in a better space each and every time. It might not always look like that to others. Well, and it's obviously not, in comparison to most people. Like, most people have not been through what I've been through, so, like, they couldn't even understand, the blessing of being able, like, I don't have a problem being in this room all day, every day, and just doing everything from within this space. I still go out and do stuff, but, like, I don't mind just kind of holing up in this room, because this is more space than I've had to myself in years. This is potentially even a little bit bigger by a couple square feet, but like, this is as much space as I had to myself in 2020. And even then, I was in a space where, like, the dude living next to me was creeping on me the entire time and making me extremely uncomfortable. Like, chain smoking in his house and, like, everything. Like, the building was really shitty. He, like, got everything infested with bed bugs. My ex kept showing up and, like, banging on the door and trying to start fights with me and stuff, and was being real crazy. And there was just, a lot going on at that time. I was extremely paranoid. There's just a lot going on at that time. Like, I don't have that going on anymore. Like, at all. Like, my things are mine. I'm safe. I'm comfortable. Like, I'm quite happy to be where I am. It's crazy. It's crazy just after everything I've been through to be able to have this space. So I don't want to feel like bad for crying in my own space. For just letting my emotions out and just like feeling what I need to feel. I keep looking at my plants, and like some of them are like, I have all these cacti and all these different like succulent type plants, and some of them are doing great. And I have a whole bunch of new growth. But some of them are like not happy looking. Some of them have like this, I guess it's from some type of mite or something. They have like brown, they have some type of disease. And I don't know what to do about it. And so sometimes like looking at them is depressing. And then I feel bad because I'm not trying to put that energy into them. But like, honestly, even the death is important and valuable because it teaches you what you need to grow. I think about my dogs passing last year and how much that still hurts. You know, I hate that it took that for me to finally be able to get into a space where I'm safe and comfortable. I was fighting so hard for that my entire life. Maggie died when she was 15 years old. For 15 years, I had her as a dependent, and I tried so hard to give her this, and I never did. I never could. But so much of that is because my focus, as long as she was around and as long as Lily was around, was just on them. I wasn't taking the best care of myself. I wasn't prioritizing my needs. I was prioritizing their needs and struggling with it because I was beating myself up on top of it, right? Because I couldn't provide for their needs. But that's because their needs were an extension of my own, and I didn't recognize that. And it took losing them and going through like this crazy journey and losing all these different things for me to realize how essential caring for myself truly is. And I hate that it took that. But that's life, man. Life is not for the faint of heart, right? But that's largely in part because the good that there is to receive is so good that the faint of heart don't know how to properly receive it either. There's so much good happening. There's something profound that's going to happen for me. There's an incredible blessing on its way to me. And everything has been getting me in the right place to be able to properly receive it. And like cultivating this grateful aspect in my heart so that I can properly receive it and make the most of it. And do with it all of the things that the universe has for me to do with it so that it's not just going to waste and it's not just, this petty, shallow thing for me. It'd be so easy any of these times that I've been feeling so down and feeling like, I wish that I could have come into millions of dollars when I was like fucking homeless. But had I would have jumped into using it in petty and shallow ways just to make up for the loss that I was feeling at that time. And that's why I'm being asked to feel these losses and decompress all of these different things right now too, so I can release these things so that I'm in a proper position to be patient and to be wise and to know how to use what I'm given for its greatest benefit and to not have to rush it and, to be able to invest it properly. I had no concept of those things up until now. And I'm so close to having every fiber of my being in that position of just being okay, I'm ready for this next big thing. I need it to move on into my next thing, and I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. Everything is in alignment for it. I'm ready and willing and capable of receiving it, and I'm ready. I'm ready. Go ahead and give it to me. Everything it took to get here is so crazy. And I can't wait to share it with the world. It's intimidating. But it's so important, and it's what I'm here for. It's what it's all been for. I should probably just get used to being able to be emotional right in front of people, because that's what people need to see. We live in such a fake reality, in this society. People aren't used to seeing people express genuine emotion And when they do, they're like enamored of it. Like, that's not, I can embrace that, I can accept that, I can receive that, but like I need to continue working these things out and working through that so that like I can handle that initial receiving and transmute it into what it's supposed to be. Which is like, don't admire me for being me, just be you. Use that energy, take that admiration, put it into yourself. Let yourself be free to be the same ways that you see in me. Because as much as people like to get to know me in my free aspects, I want to get to know other people too. Like for real, actual serious. I'm tired of only getting to know people on the surface, because the second they start to get deep, they just start admiring me and putting me on a pedestal. Because I'm capable of being more genuine than they feel like they are. Like, that's not fair. I'm willing to love and accept and nurture and support and honor the genuine aspect in every individual. And I have done that. And I will continue to do that. And I mean, I'd appreciate it being offered to me too, for sure. But I don't need it. I'm willing to accept it and to receive it because it is as necessary for me as it is for anyone. I'm not so separate. I'm not an island. There's nothing I should be capable of that anybody else isn't capable of or deserving of, right? But yeah, I want to see people being real. Being really, really real. Even if it ain't pretty. Even if you feel like a clown when you're doing it. Even if you come across like a bitch. Even if you seem unstable. I mean, if you come across as unstable, maybe you are. You know? And that's okay. Maybe these ideals are a lot bigger than what can be captured in any particular moment. Maybe part of the balance is that imbalance, right? Perfect individuals don't exist. It is about balance. To be genuine. This has been a lot. It's been a lot. And I haven't been like in my shit for the last couple days, so it's been building. So I appreciate you putting up with me about it. I'm feeling some type of way. I'm gonna go out after this to the store or something. Just gonna get out, but let me do a bit of a read. I don't know exactly who this is for. There's somebody watching this who has been asking the universe for a specific sign. I'm so emotional. For a specific sign. I don't know what about. I don't know what about. But it has been on their hearts. Just give me a sign and I will know, and then I can do the thing. They have it already visualized. They have it already set. But they want the sign in order to know that it's the right thing. And this is your sign. If you are watching this and that resonates with you, this is your sign. If you are waiting on a very specific answer so that you can know which direction or to go or what it is that you're trying to do, that's what this reading is for. It's for you. Okay. I have 2 cards that came face down, 2 cards that came face up. Let's see. lot that wants to be said, but we're going to try to keep it concise. Okay. Another one came face down, and another one came face up. And the way... How is this reading supposed to be set up? Set this up so that you can... Oh, okay. How should I do this reading? I'm not even like reading them right yet. I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to get a feeling from the cards as to how they're supposed to be read. Okay. This is what we're working with. Okay. We have the Knight of Cups in the reverse. That's the initial card. We have this card that's face down that's going to be the transition, and it's going to be what transitions us into the Six of Wands. These are clarifying cards. The clarifiers are the cards that are face down. So, okay, in the Knight of Cups, we have this, it's moving away from the rest of the cards. So right now I'm getting this feeling of like a trepidation of moving forward in some degree. Feeling like one wants to put their emotions or affections into, like they want to offer themselves to some degree, but feeling like they almost are supposed to be doing it in like a whole nother way, or on a whole nother path, or to somebody else, or in a different direction. Or it feels like that's what they fear that they're doing, and that it's leading them away from this sense of victory and confidence. And there is a whole bunch of uncertainty in this direction. And so they're questioning, like, is this the right direction? Should I do this? Because it seems like, you know, and then you have the Eight of Pentacles here. So, like, in the upright. So it feels like, you know, all of this work that I've done has been leading towards this very specific sense of success and fulfillment. And I can see that work being done leading to that. But I feel like I'm being led to just move completely away from that and to move in this opposite direction where there is nothing but uncertainty. And I don't feel terribly assured of that. However, because of the way that this reading is set, this Eight of Pentacles is actually down here. So it isn't the actual transition towards success. It's just the perceived transition towards success. And so it's that all of this work that's been done that seems to lead directly into this, it seems like that's what it would be, but it's actually just, that's just the perception. The actual energy that's going to lead to success isn't this hard, dedicated work towards physical manifestation or monetary abundance, although that has its own benefit. I mean, it's still out here, and it's still out here with the Six of Wands. So it still has its own benefit. But the reason that there's this trepidation from the Knight of Cups towards giving themselves fully in that direction, that it feels like they're being drawn in this opposite direction, is because their true tool for success or pathway to success is this card that came out on its side. which is the Six of Swords. So this concept of having an assurance of one's own physical and monetary abundance because it's what one has been directly working on. Like, I got this specific job because it paid this specific amount. I've saved all of this. How do I not have... Well, I guess it's already been an hour. Okay. I don't know if it's going to take this whole video because it's already trying to cut me off. But I got this job because it paid enough, you know, it paid this certain amount, and I've done this work for this amount of time, and I've saved up this much, and I have all of these A, B, and C that should make me feel secure. But I'm feeling like I'm being led in a different direction from those things. And I feel unassured that I will see my success if I just leave this behind. Okay. And you're not necessarily being asked to just leave that behind, by the way. But it's a matter of perception, energetic transference, prioritization, and focus. And the real key to success isn't in... There is actual monetary abundance here. It's already yours. You've been working on it. It's already yours. You're still working on it. Whatever you put your actual work into this way is yours, and it speaks for itself. But there's a greater success that you're looking for. There's a greater feeling of confidence that you actually see for yourself. And that is coming through this Six of Swords on its side, this transition. The Six of Swords is moving by faith from murky, difficult waters into a clear path of peace. But it's also caring for your dependents. It's also caring for others. It's protecting others. It's helping others out of their troubles. It's not that there isn't troubles in that. It's taking on all of these things in order to move forward. You know, the swords don't just have to be a negative concept. In this card, they appear to be negative. It's kind of like this weighing down feeling of just being overburdened. But the alchemization of that is that the swords are really just the truth. They're all these different truths. And it's about helping people move into these different truths and to be able to use them to their benefit. And once you're able to do that, then there's this, you know, transition from the Six of Swords into the Six of Wands. They become things that are representative of a person's spiritual and intellectual skill and emotional skill. And there's a success there when you're willing to help others through theirs, which also is helping you through yours. And it's kind of just this feeling of like moving to the other side, where like no longer is the focus on monetary wealth, which is already yours, and you're still doing the work to build that, but it's on creating and alchemizing the negativity, the innate negativity of these swords, feeling like an overbearing burden, into being skills that we have actually acquired and now can take and move forward with. And so this hard work then, the hard work, now it's paying off from the King of Swords into the King of Swords in the reverse into the Nine of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so the King of Swords in the reverse is like a confidence of one's own truth and an assurance of like one's own personal skill with oneself, and like being able to be like ready for anything because you're confident in yourself and your capacity to be able to defend yourself. And to be able to, you know, like he has a butterfly at the top of his throne, surrounded by two moons, 2 crescent moons, which is like the transition of one's inner world or workings or emotions and stuff. And so it's that by doing that work, that's been part of this material work. Isn't just building abundance, it's also been working through this insecurity of being able to provide for oneself. And that's where it was initially coming from, was that one didn't feel confident in being able to provide for oneself or protect oneself or feel completely stable. So one was building on this material wealth, right? And where it seemed that was going to lead to ultimate success, one finds that their ultimate success is actually in helping others, helping those that care for them, their personal family, having their family that they provide for, that they protect, or at least the feeling of family, the feeling of helping, like the widows and the orphans, kind of feeling, the underprivileged, and to be able to alchemize those things into a genuine success. What the physical abundance has acquired is that you were working through an insecurity of self and have moved into an assurance of one's own personal skill, where like the 9 of Wands in the upright kind of has this feeling of like, I've been traumatized, I'm nervous, I have my one skill, but there's all these other skills coming up against me, and like I'm not really sure of myself. Or like in the reverse, it's that like I can handle whatever comes at me. The 8 of Wands is a card where it's like depicting all the wands coming at that person. And the 10 of Wands is like them trying to carry all of these wands and kind of struggling with it. The 9 of Wands is like an in-between, a sense of security, and especially in the reverse, it is a sense of security that like, despite all the things that have come at me, I have remained and I stand strong, and I'm strong enough to then move forward into carrying whatever burdens are ahead of me. And that also brings this greater sense of success. And so I guess, like, I don't know how much of this video is going to be left, but like, the main message that I have for whoever's looking for the sign is to trust yourself, to trust the greater picture, trust that the work that you've done isn't for naught, but it might not lead to the success that you're actually after. That is a matter of reprioritizing your perceptions of what is valuable and putting yourself into a position of being able to care for those that are in your position of care, in order to really receive your greatest reward, which will be like a kingdom of people that support you, and like what's the word? They like take joy and pleasure in your successes. They celebrate you. We're people that actually celebrate you, but that's going to come through giving yourself to those people in a more genuine way, and kind of putting your ego aside in order to take on those burdens, and not be afraid to take on those burdens in order to help others, in order to alchemize those things into something greater that you can be very proud of. And that the monetary is actually just a way to get to that place, because the monetary has built a sense of security. But it's built a sense of security through this concept of having been unsure and being able to prove to oneself that, like, no, I did do this, and I can do this, and I can continue moving forward. Yeah, this is about to cut off, so hopefully that was helpful to whoever needed it. I appreciate you giving me the time to just sit here and cry at you. But hopefully those things are also beneficial, and that you can take from them. If I was crying for you, like, thank you for giving me. I know I was mad about it at first, but I do appreciate those energies, because I know that it's hard for some people to express those things. And although I don't always want to be the one doing the work for others, I am willing to. Especially when it leads to a greater success for all of us. That's what that 6 of Wands is saying. That if everybody is given to following the leader, it's best to be a good leader, instead of just being mad that everybody's just followers. you know. And so just to continue to do the work that you know is worth it, but to not hold such rigid standards as to what success is supposed to look like, but to be open to pouring oneself into others and continuing to pour oneself into oneself and letting those forms of stability that come through those things speak for themselves. And okay, so this is about to cut off. I hope you have a great everything. That you have a great everything. I know these are crazy times, but we're going to be better through all this. Just keep doing your thing. Keep doing you. Love yourself. Give yourself some extra love today. Give yourself some time. Find 5 different things to be incredibly grateful for and really think about how grateful you are for those things and let that guide you forward. Give yourself a little space, a little time, some bit of enjoyment, and I will see you in the next video.